Ex-UK-Premierminister Boris Johnson, befreit Russlands eingefrorene Vermögenswerte für die Ukraine.
Thank you so much, General Kellogg. Boris Johnson, I wondered if you had a few thoughts. Can someone get Boris Johnson a mic, the former Prime Minister?
Thank you very much. Well, President Stubb, I want to thank you and congratulate you on what you have done. I think it's been really remarkable. Can I ask a couple of specific questions about first of all, about the fabled 300 billion or 250 billion, or how much it now is, the euro clear cash. When are we going to get that unfrozen? And secondly, to the point of everybody's talking about the security guarantees and a ceasefire, and it seems to me there's a real risk of a kind of endless chicken and egg problem, because Putin has no interest in a ceasefire. He doesn't want to make a deal. He's going to rope-a-dope us. He's going to keep going till the Greek cal ends, right? So why not short-circuit this? You've got this coalition of the willing built up. You're ready to go. What is the objection to deploying now in the safe parts of Ukraine? Here we all are in this beautiful hotel. We're all perfectly safe here. Lots of parts of Ukraine are safe. Why couldn't the coalition of the willing get their boots on the ground now? Not in a war-fighting capacity, because as General Kellogg has rightly said, it's the heroic Ukrainian troops who are by far the best guarantors of their own security. They're not there to take on the Russians, the coalition of the willing. They're there to do logistics, support, all the things that we've talked about, backfilling, and so on. And above all that, to your point, President Stubb, they're there to show that Ukraine has made a geostrategic choice to be part of the Western security architecture, and we respect that choice. And number two, it's Ukraine and Ukrainians who decide which countries get to send troops to Ukraine, and not the Russians. And it's crazy that point is still in dispute, and that we're still effectively allowing Russia to have a veto over who comes here. So why not accelerate the coalition of the willing? Because otherwise, it looks like the coalition's willing, but the spirit is weak, so to speak.
Thanks. So first on the frozen assets, I think it is roughly 300 billion, and I agree with you, they should be released in one way or another. I think the issue that we have is with a couple of member states, and especially of course with the member states that sits on Euroclear, which is Belgium. They are afraid of legal implications in the long run. But I think the European Commission and many others are now working on solutions whereby that money could be used for collateral, as it has been for loans. I personally think that we should already now start preparing the reconstruction of Ukraine, and I think that those assets should certainly be used as some kind of war compensation. So I would like to go the full Monty on this one, but unfortunately it's not the President of Finland that decides. The last thing we should do is, of course, to release those funds to Russia at any stage. There has to be a price for war, which is also financial. As far as the coalition of the willing is concerned, I think the starting point of the coalition of the willing is to create a deterrence for the day after the war. And in the meanwhile, what we try to do is to supply Ukraine with the best intelligence, with the best weapons, with financial aid to help fight this war, because obviously we didn't work as a deterrent before it. So I kind of want to take this one step at a time and understand that the most modern and effective army that we have right now in Europe is Ukraine. The next step then is, after the ceasefire, to provide the coalition of willing with the military plans that have already been set. Then, I'm reluctant to say this in your presence, Mr. Johnson, but one of the best security guarantees Ukraine can get is EU membership.
It took Finland quite a long time, as far as I can remember.
Yes, it took Finland, and I think this gets to the core argument. Finland did not have the sovereign right to decide about EU membership, and that should never, ever happen to Ukraine. So, I think we take it one step at a time, and then eventually when Ukraine joins NATO, it has full Article 5. But remember, if you look at this thing from, and sorry for the slightly wrong answer, if you look at this thing from the perspective of Putin and the Kremlin, you have to ask yourself, how did I do? First, the aim was to take over Ukraine in a special operation in 4 days. Here we are, 4 years into the war. Second was to create disunity in the West. I've never seen it more united before, including actually the transatlantic partnership. Third was to minimize the defense expenditure of NATO members. Trump has just hiked us up from 2% to 5%. And the icing of the cake is, of course, that Putin doubled his border to NATO through Finland and then eventually Sweden. So he has failed in all of his strategic goals, including the fact that Ukraine became very European and not Russian at all.